Okay, dreams from last night, the morning of May 24th. It was a very complex series of events, and in them, there's a man who's at some sporting events. It's an international thing, and the Russians are cheating somehow, and he starts listening to their plotting as these different Russian agents slash athletes are sitting on the toilet unaware that he has entered the room, and they're talking about how they were doing something wicked and they got caught, and so they were forced to kill either a maid or somebody else. They killed someone and they hid her body, and then the police come and they do some investigating, and they find that these Russians have stuffed something into this underwater pipe that accesses the general water pool, and then they've tried to hide it, but the work they did to hide what they've done is not very good. And so as soon as it's really looked at by anyone with any type of scrutiny, they realize that something's been done here. And I don't know if it's the body of the maid or something else, because in the next scene, I draw a glass of water and it comes out and I drink it and I immediately spit it out. I go down to the next room, I open that faucet and I taste it. It tastes the same, but now I notice that it has a kind of a green tint to it, like a noticeable green tint, like not like maybe there's one, but yeah, there's definitely a green tint. Anybody would agree who looked at it. And then I realized, well, of course, both of these faucets are attached to the same water source, so of course it's all the same. Later, when I was writing it, I realized, like, this is the green, pale green. That's the color of the fourth horse of the four horsemen. When I drink the water, I say to the other people in the room, there is Theramide in this water. I've never heard of Theramide before, but I looked it up. It's a real thing, and this is what it does. It's called a vaccine adjuvant, and adjuvant just means something like a catalyst for it. So it means that this is something that enhances the functioning power of a vaccine. It magnifies vaccines somehow. That's what this Theramide is, and it's in the water. Now, you may think, well, it's just a dream, but I want to tell you some other things that I've mentioned before. I just posted a note here. These include, but are not limited to, that when they were saying, oh, there's going to be two, now there's going to be a second vaccine, maybe they were even only at one at that time. Holy Spirit told me, nope, there's going to be three. And then they came out with a third one, but no more. So Holy Spirit said three, and it was three, all right? And I posted that years ago. And 30 years ago, I've been saying that there's nanotechnology hidden in food and deodorant and candies and other things, makeup. And then later I started saying the Holy Spirit showed me it's going to be in food. And then we learned that it was in the jabs. And I said that as well, that there was going to be nanotech in there. And I saw it assembling into, and I said, I was on a radio show. I said, it looks like graphene oxide, like these little nanotubules. I've been seeing this for 15 or 20 years. I didn't know what it was, and now here it is, right? And sure enough, that's now a lot of people are preaching about that today, right? And I said that they would start altering hydroxychloroquine and other things by adding the J&J evils into it, right? And now I shared recently a video. Somebody was proving that this zeolite product called Master Blend or Masterpiece or something like that actually has nanotech in it, right? So people are taking it to do a hard metal cleanse and get this nanotech out, but they came out and developed a corrupted form so that you'll be worse off if you take it. And even right now, I'm having flashbacks to dreams from 25 years ago. I said that they'll put stuff into the water using hydrogel. I didn't know what that was either when the dream told me. I looked it up, learned all about hydrogel and how you can soak something in hydrogel and then it can become water soluble and it can transport in water. Things that might otherwise be too heavy become less dense because of the added bulk of the hydrogel, which is light. All right. I said that there was snake poison somehow, that God showed me that from 700 years ago, the enemy started researching snake venom because they wanted to make weaker workers who were more obedient and would be less interested in their own affairs, but do what these rich elite wanted them to do. Holy Spirit showed me that. And then this thing, Watch the Waters, came out, and I was proven correct again. So take this seriously. There's something called Theramide in the water. try to get, if you can, somehow a trusted source, a small producer, maybe somebody you know. Maybe you can get your own well bored into the ground, but you need to have access to clean water. This is the man from Modesto, Robert Avila, reminding you as always to pray. Put your trust in God. Seek Him. Pray and ask for the gifts, dreaming, visions, word of knowledge. Go look up the list of all the different gifts of the Spirit that God can give. Speaking in tongues, praying in tongues. You need all these things to help carry you through what is coming. Holy Spirit gave me a lot of instructions. I put it into a free short book called 4 Prayers for the End Time. You can download that on Kobo, Google Books, Amazon, anywhere you get books. I also wrote a book called The End Times, 40 Prophecies Every Christian Must Know. And believe me, you want to get that book as well. 100 Ways God Speaks to You also talks about just recognizing how God taught me from the time I was a boy to recognize His voice. And He put me through experiences, how He teaches us, how He speaks to us. A lot of people ask me, how does God speak to you? Because they think the only way is some audible voice in your head, but it's not always like that. It could be an instant knowing. It could be a presentiment, a foreboding. It could be all kinds of different things. A strong intuition, a compilation to go somewhere. The word of knowledge, open visions. So many things God will use to show us, and He's not limited or restricted in any capacity. So, please go get those free books that I've shared with you. If you go on Amazon, see my author page, you can see the entire list of my offerings. I think there are 14 books now. And I think that you'll enjoy every one of them. This is the man from Modesto. Pray or be defeated.